Most of the time, I consider Windlass Steelcrafts to be a very good company for doing really baseline, inexpensive, entry-level implementations of weapons. That is to say, they aren't going to be the highest end, they aren't going to be the most well-made, but generally speaking, if you're buying a Windlass product, you're probably buying something that is going to hold up at least under a modicum of abuse and will actually last for a while and actually act as a functional weapon. Generally speaking as well, I would say that they do a fairly good job in their product descriptions saying what their weapons are, how they're made, what they're made of. I have now found an exception, one that actually makes me a little bit angry because I feel like it's borderline pulling the wool over the eyes of the prospective buyer. And I really, as a customer, someone who buys things from them as just a general consumer, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It upsets me when things are not clear, especially when you're talking about something that you're buying online and the description and the pictures are all you have to go by. Now, I live close to the Museum Replica storefront. I decided to go there and actually take a look at a couple of items. I was actually going there to go pick up the Deal of the Day item because it was actually the German Bastard Sword. It's something I've been thinking about getting. I just kept not getting it. I'm going to get it this time. So I went to go pick it up, and I saw this on the wall. I was like, great, I can actually handle this and see how good it is, because honestly, I like the fisted style warhammers. I love that implementation. I love that design. You see some historical versions of it. There are other replicas out there, but so many of them are poorly implemented in terms of replicas. They don't look as pretty, and you kind of want that nice aesthetic to it. Now, the first thing that I noticed upon walking up to the counter to actually ask to be able to handle this weapon is it's actually quite large. It's a lot bigger than it looks like in the picture. It's easily a two-handed style warhammer. Now, it's not a pole hammer. It's not that big, but it's certainly larger than just like a single-handed warhammer. Now, if you look at the picture and you look at the description and it says it has a 5-inch spike, then you can begin to understand the dimensions of the handpiece, the actual head of this thing. It's a good 6 or 7 inches in terms of length on that pole end. And so it's a large piece. It's a lot bigger than you'd think. So I expected this item to be extremely heavy given the mass of the head. And when they handed it to me, I was very shocked, honestly, almost a little bit taken aback at how light it was. And part of that's because of the actual material the hand piece is made of. So I tapped on it. It kind of felt almost plasticky. So here's my guess. I don't know because they don't describe it. I think it's made out of cast resin. And here's the problem with that. Cast resin is really good for making a nice molded piece, but it's only really good for that decorative style because it doesn't hold up real well. It breaks really easily. If you've ever gone and purchased a cast resin statue, a collectible statue, and it's fallen off of something, it's broken. It will break. It doesn't hold up all that well. And there are certain types of resin that are a little bit better than others, but honestly, no, it's prone to breakage. And on top of that, that's not a very authentic implementation. And I think that would actually all be okay if the description actually stated that. But I want to go back to the description here. It says, made by Windlass Steelcraft, this version has an all-steel head, sporting both a flat-headed hammer and deadly 5-inch spike. Now, I'm a little bit confused. If that's an all-steel head, why wasn't it heavier? If that's an all-steel head, why, when I tap on it, does it feel kind of plasticky, kind of like a cast resin? I think there's an incredible misdirection here, and I think that's a problem. Later on in the description, it even says, all metal has been battle-worn, antique finished. And you can see that in the picture, everything looks like it's antique finished. All metal has been battle-worn, antique finished. Now, again, there's kind of a sidestepping of potential facts here, because yes, all the metal has been antique finished, along with the cast resin hand. So here's my problem in all of this. As a consumer, potentially buying things online, I really need these descriptions to be precise. And when there are other materials used to make an item, it needs to be called out. Looking at the description, the only materials that are called out are steel, hardwood, and that's it. How in the world is that okay? Now again, I'll note, I like Windlass. I think they make beautiful items. My goodness, look at their newest late Scottish broadsword. That thing is gorgeous. They make wonderful things, fairly well implemented for an entry level. But people expect better than this. They expect better than a description that acts as misdirection. They expect an item that could hold up to abuse. Now, they're not saying this thing is battle ready. I kind of wish they would actually call that out. I feel like the implementation, the way it's been put together, actually makes me question it a bit. But at the end of the day, I really need them to call out all the materials. I need to understand what I'm buying, because what is pictured and what is described suggests to me that it's actually all steel. And I don't think it is. I don't know what they've done. But I think they need to call it out, and they need to get back to us with a better description. I'm curious, has anyone out there bought this? Has anyone run into problems with it? Are you happy with the purchase? Because I don't think I would be. At $150, it's a pretty good deal, but you really expect it to be more well implemented. Alright guys, that's kind of a rant. I apologize. I just wanted to call this out because it honestly surprised me. And I feel like I expect better. Now, if I'm incorrect, if their showroom version was some kind of other implementation, which usually it's not, but it has been in the past. I have actually been in their storefront where the item they had on the wall was like a prototype. If that's actually the case, okay, great. I will take down this video and I'll make a new one speaking about how I was wrong. Part of me wanted to pick this up and actually kind of put it through its paces to actually show it, but I don't want to make a $150 point in this. I'd much rather save my money for better items. So I figured I'd just call it out here. Again, I'm happy to retract all of this if someone can provide me evidence that the actual items, beyond what I saw in the showroom, is actually made of all steel. Otherwise, Windlass, Museum Replicas, I expect you to update your description. Please do so.